You know we had to talk about it. Recapping the drama and reviewing the chaos, one episode at a time. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Reality Recaps and Reviews with Pam Unfiltered. This is episode 2 of season 8's Love Island. The episode picks up where the first one left off, or I should say the premiere episode left off, where there are some of the singles who chose the green dot and there were some who chose the red. As we know, Gabriel took Trinity and Bea. They're the ones that wanted to explore with him. And then Kayda took Bryce and Zach because they chose to explore outside of who was in their couple. So Ariana is explaining to the people who, chose green that the people who did choose red, they're going to have 24 hours with the Bombshells, and the Bombshells is going to have to decide who they want to choose. So now it's time for the people who chose green to see if their person in their couple chose the same thing. So the door opens for Sincere and Melanie, and they both chose green. And the same thing goes with Aniyah and KC. Aniyah is relieved that she sees KC. I know there's a lot of discourse online saying that Aniyah doesn't like KC. I don't think that's necessarily true. I really do think she does. She probably wasn't sure about him early on, but I think because he's so attentive to her, she's like really falling, and I think pretty fast, to be honest with you. Even though she still has like her walls up, not necessarily her walls up, but she still wants to explore. I think KC is still her number one. So after those two couples stood on green and they found out that they both, each couple still wants to continue on in their couple, then we find out that Trinity and Bryce decided to explore, and then it's time for Kenzie. So Kenzie opens the door and she realizes Zach is not there, but she knew it because throughout the 24 hours, Zach has been giving her several hints that he is not really necessarily into her. She looks really hurt and really embarrassed. And it was this one time only where I really felt bad for her. I was like, damn, she looks really, really sad. And I was just like, oh, she kind of tugged at my heart. But that was the only time. I personally think it was more of an embarrassment thing than hurt when it comes to Kenzie, because at the end of the day, she doesn't know Zach. But I also think it's also a pride thing with Kenzie, because at the end of the day, Kenzie technically is the only white girl out of all the girls. And we all know how it is. White women are desirable over everybody. And she's not. She's the only one that really isn't. You get what I'm saying? So maybe she's feeling some sort of way about that. So, Ariana feels bad for her, but she said, it's his loss. There'll be someone for her. And she's like, yes, definitely. So now it's time for Sean to open up to see if Bea is behind the door. So he opens the door and finds out that Bea is not there. When I tell you, this man is shocked. He's hurt. He's flabbergasted. He's confused. He does not understand why Bea is not behind that closed door. And this is where I get at Bea, and I kind of want to talk about it more in episode 3 when they have their discussion. But Bea, even though she only had 24 hours, she still should have she should have told him that she wants to explore, and she should have been really honest with him and say, you know what, I really don't date men who have children. I'm just saying. So after he finds that out, and he talks to Ariana. Why do I keep calling this woman Ariana Grande? It's Ariana Madix. These two are not the same age, and they look nothing alike. I need to stop. I should just say Ariana and call it a damn day. So, Ariana kind of wraps it up with them, and then everybody disperses. The guys go with the guys, the girls go with the girls. The girls go in, I think the area is called Say Less. So she's in there, and Melanie and Aniyah are trying to console her, and she's just like, she's really, really sad because she feels like Zach wasn't honest with her. And I'm saying to myself, but he gave you hints that you picked up. I'm trying to figure out, why are you so upset? You've only known him for 24 hours. She said that she was never sexually attracted to him, and she thinks that Charlie looks better. This is where Kenzie's immaturity comes in, because I feel like comments like that were unnecessary. You get what I'm saying? You were hurt, you were embarrassed. That's it. Move on. You don't have to go and make digs on his looks. He didn't make any digs on you. He just said he doesn't date blondes. He prefers a darker woman. And I don't see what the problem is. Again, like I said a little bit earlier, she is the only white woman on the show because she's blonde. Blonde.
Real blonde?
Girl, you're not a real blonde, by the way. Because she's a blonde, she assumes that all the men are going to fall in line with her. And in fact, a lot of those men desire women of color. And I'm just going to put it out there. Again, the girls are trying to console her. She starts to cry. Woe is me, blah, blah, blah. So now we get Sincere, Casey, and Sean. And, Sean is just like, I'm shocked. Like, I'm honestly shocked that she was not there. I don't understand, like, why she isn't there. And she chose to explore with the Bombshell. So after that, they cut to the Bombshell and the Islanders going into like this water bungalow. They each have a separate bungalow. You have Kayda, Bryce, and Zach. They're sitting there. They're talking. Zach asks Kayda what her ethnicity is. She tells them that, her dad is Haitian and her mother's like array of different white cultures. And he's like, okay, I think he tells her that he's Greek, if I'm not mistaken. If not, then he doesn't. I think they tell their occupation. I think she's a server in New Hampshire. For some reason, everybody outside of Sincere doesn't know where New Hampshire is, which is odd because a lot of them are East Coasters. So I don't quite understand how these people don't know where New Hampshire is. It's a part of New England. It's next to Massachusetts. I'm just saying. Know the geography of your country. I'm just saying. So they're talking, and then it cuts to Trinity, Bea, and Gabrielle. And Gabrielle is talking to them, and he's pretty much trying to have them guess where he's from. He says, I speak Portuguese. Trinity's like, well, are you Brazilian? He said, yes, that he's Brazilian. But he came here 3 years ago, obviously, to the United States in Miami. He says he's a model and he's a DJ. Honey, after the little brief conversation, he starts to make out with Bea. And Trinity is just sitting there like, okay, like this is kind of awkward. But all right, okay. So then it cuts to, I'm just reading my notes, guys, to make sure everything is there. So then after that, we cut back into the villa and we get Sincere and Melanie in the speakeasy. And Melanie is very curious to know what the Bombshell girl looks like, which is really odd to me because Sincere isn't the person that chose to explore with her. Like he's literally sitting across from her. But he tells her, she looks really similar to you. Pretty much another light-skinned black woman. Let's be real here, because at the end of the day, Melanie and Kayda look nothing alike. Nothing alike. And Melanie actually is like a good 3 or 4 skin tones darker than Kayda. They don't look nothing alike outside of what you would consider them light-skinned black women. I'm just saying. So she's asking him questions about, is she pretty and all this other stuff. And he's answering with no problem. My thing is there's a tone to Melanie's inquiries, the questions that she's asking him, like he's been cheating on her and she's trying to figure out if he's interested in Kayda. You know what I mean? And she tells him straight off the bat, she's like, I got trust issues. And I'm like, oh my God, Sincere, baby, if you didn't catch that tone when she was asking those questions and after her saying that she got trust issues, baby, like you need to pick up on that because that is a major red flag. So now we get, let me make sure I got it. So now we get Aniyah and Casey and Soul Ties, and they're pretty much talking to each other about how shocked and surprised and nervous they were while they, were trying to figure out if either one was on the other side of the door. And they were super happy that, they were there and they just started to kiss. I don't know. It's so weird. When they were kissing, it was just like, I don't know if it was on her end or his end, where maybe they have an issue with the other one kissing, because they were kissing. It was cute. It was nice. It finished. And then Casey, I think, makes like a comment like, oh, I think it was nice or something like that. That was good. That was better. And she's like, well, you want to go again? And then they start making out again. Now we go back to the water bungalows with the Bombshells and the Islanders. And we first get Kayda and I think Bryce that are having a conversation. Hold on. Yes. So we get Bryce and Kayda in the room while Zach is waiting outside. Can I tell you something? I think that's one of the most stupidest things, if that's even a word, stupidest things that Love Island could ever do, to have this big ass room for 3 people. And then when 2 people want to talk, the other one is sitting on a bench outside of the room, just looking awkward and stupid. Why don't you just have them maybe sit at a bar or something? I just thought that was dumb. So in the conversation that Kayda, right? Kayda is having with Bryce. He's really just talking about Trinity. To be honest with you, he's saying like, he really likes her, but he feels like Trinity isn't very physical with him. You know what I mean? And he's unsure like what their relationship is gonna be. And Kayda understands. So now we get Gabriel and Trinity in their room separate, while oddly and awkwardly Bea is outside of the room sitting on a bench, and they're just having their conversation. But I just feel like when it comes to Gabriel, I just noticed this from the jump. He doesn't like to have like long conversations, but he'll like cut them off to have like makeout sessions. So that's what he did with Trinity. And I ain't gonna front. His kisses with Trinity are so much more passionate than the ones that he has with Bea. Y'all let me know if y'all agree with me. Let me know down below in the comment section. I just feel like they're just more intense. I don't know. So after that, it's time, everybody. No, it's not time yet, because Gabriel has a one-on-one with Bea, or Beatrice, Bea, stop saying Bea, it's Beatrice. And again, the conversation didn't go too long. I think they discussed the fact that, that she was Mexicana. I think she's half, because she does not talk about her father. She just says, my mom is Mexicana. So I'm assuming her dad is white. But she does disclose that information. And then again, with the whole makeout session, I don't know. I don't get it, but it's time for everybody to go to sleep. You have Bea, Trinity, and Gabriel. That's how they're sleeping. But then, baby, when it comes to Bryce, Zach, and Kayda, there's this connection between Kayda and Zach. She's in the middle. Bryce is on, if she's laying down, Bryce is on her right. Zach is on her left. She gets, as the lights turn off, she gets closer to Zach. She gives Zach a couple of kisses, and she kind of wants to like cuddle with him. I think Bryce kind of hears it, and he goes over, and he's like, I need to get into this action. She's like, not tonight, honey. You need to go over there. Go over there. So then he goes over there, and then at night you see Kayda and Zach cuddling up. Let me check a little shit. So I'm doing a lot of talking. Okay, this is a little weird. Y'all, I put sweet tea, and then that Hennessy iced tea new mixer. I put a little in there because them shits are strong, and this tastes funny. Tastes like medicine. So now it's morning, and we get the Islanders that's in the villa, waking up, preparing for the day. Sean goes over to Kenzie, just got to see how she's doing. And she's asking him, like, can you make eggs for me? He's like, absolutely, I would definitely make you eggs. So you got the girls that's in, upstairs in the makeup room, and the guys are cooking them breakfast. They bring it up. They do the usual. Again, I just think that is just way too much. It's only been day 2, and these people are kissing like they've been in a relationship for months, maybe even years. It's just really odd. Like, dude, I don't know too much about you besides the most basic things like your name, your age, where you from, what's your occupation. I'm not kissing you like that. I'm just not. Maybe that's me being old school. I'm just not kissing nobody like that. So Sean comes upstairs with Kenzie's food, and he makes her eggs in a heart shape with fruit and some chicken sausages. And this girl is so happy because she feels wanted. Again, she has not been feeling wanted, even though it's only been 2 days, but she has not been feeling wanted. So Sean just made her feel really, really special. So now we cut back to the Islanders with the Bombshells. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to hold y'all guys. It was hella boring. These little dates, these little inserts were just super, super boring. So I'm going to go really quickly on this. So we get Bryce and Zach sitting on like a picnic table. They're talking. Zach explains to Bryce about, why he chose the red dot. He says, listen, I'm not physically attracted to Kenzie, and he feels like that's a really big part of the relationship. Bryce says that, he's really, even though he likes Trinity, he is happy that he chose to just even try to explore with the Bombshells. So now it cuts to Bia. It cuts to Bia and Trinity. I think they're either sitting on a park bench or like on a blanket. I think it was a bench. And they're talking about, their situations with the dudes they had before. Trinity kind of explains how she feels about Bryce, but she feels more as like on a friendship level, and he needs to like step it up a bit. And of course, we all know what Bea feels about Sean. Like, she likes him, but he's a dad, and she just never dated someone like that. She's feeling a little bit nervous because she knows that she's going to come off like a douchebag because she's never had that discussion with Sean on about exploring. And to be honest with you, that she's not really feeling him because he has a kid. I feel like she keeps leaving that out of the conversations that she's having after she chose to deal with the Bombshell. She just keeps she keeps leaving that out. The main factor of it all between you and Sean is because Sean has a kid. That's it. Be honest with yourself, especially someone like her who likes to present herself as I'm Beatrice, I'm Beatrice or Beatrice, and I'm real and I'm honest and all this other stuff. If that's who you like to present yourself as, then you need to be that 100%. And I feel like when it comes to Sean, she's just not. And I'm being honest. So we get Kenzie, Sincere, and Casey on the balcony. They have like this little, they have like 3 or 4 beach chairs. I think it's 4 beach chairs and sand. Why? What happened to the chairs that were actually on the beach? Why'd you guys stop showing that? I never understood that. I think the last time they showed that was maybe season 5. I don't even think they showed that in season 6. Well, why? Is it because, I don't know if you guys peeped this, during the day, the tide is low. I think that's what it is. The tide is low. There's like no water at all. So maybe that's why they did that. I don't know. Maybe that's why they did that. But anyway, she's on there and she's talking to the guys, and she's just explaining herself like, she was pretty much hurt by Zach, and Zach wasn't honest with her about him not liking her. But I'm just like, she's in her confessionals contradicting herself, which I don't understand. You picked up on the fact that he didn't like you. You guys were only together, and honestly, less than 24 hours. What do you expect him to do? He never got the chance to talk to you. What do you want to do? So what do you want him to do? So she's telling the guys that she's definitely open to exploring, and they're there. They're like, listen, go out there. Like, this is Love Island. Explore. So now we're back with oh my God, y'all. I'm sorry. This is just so boring. I'm going to breeze through it as much as I can because I can't take it. So now we get the Bombshells on separate dates, like kind of like picnic dates, excuse me. So we get Kayda and Zach. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I kind of did some real good filtering on this mic. It don't even pick up my claps unless I'm talking. But honey, somebody out there blasting salsa. I think that's salsa. Like, baby, it looked like they're having a whole party. That mic is so loud. So please excuse me if I get a little distracted because that joint is super loud. So we get the date with Kayda and Zach, and they're really talking about his history. He's saying his mom is Australian, his dad is English, he has a sister. Obviously, he has his brother Charlie. He explores, He explored Australia before he got here. That whole spiel he told he told Kenzie. He's saying that he is looking for a woman who isn't closed-minded, somebody who is more open. And of course, what happens? They start making out. Everything is like these short conversations, or I don't know if Love Island producers and editors are cutting the conversation shorter, but it's like maybe 2 minutes of conversation, then everybody starts to make out. And quite frankly, it is absolutely annoying. So now we get uh Bia and Gabrielle, they're on their date. It's kind of like a picnic date. And, she asks him, like, well, what was your longest relationship? He says 5 years, but he's a lover boy, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all heard that rumor about Gabriel and that dude. I'll leave a link down below on that story. But this other Brazilian boy, obviously gay, said that, him and Gabriel were intimate. And I have to believe him. The way Gabriel comes off is like he's very sexually driven, and maybe women just don't fully satisfy him. I'm just saying. So I wholeheartedly believe that, but I'll leave a link down below for you guys if you want to check that out. But Bea, she's telling him, she's like, I really have a tough exterior, but I'm really, really, sensitive. And she's really looking for love, which I don't know. I don't believe that when it comes to this show. I don't know if I believe her 100% with that. I'm just saying. So now it cuts. I'm not even going to go through it. They made out again. I told you he has like very limited conversation he wants to make out with the woman he's with. So we cut to him and Trinity having a conversation. And let me tell you something. Trinity got down and deep with him. She's like, so listen, are you ready to settle down and have children? He's like, what you mean settle down, have children? She's like, you're 26 years old. You're not ready? And I'm sorry. I had to stop right there. Because Trinity, I don't know why you think a 26-year-old should be settling down and having any kind of children at all. This is not 1950s. This is not the 1920s. This is not the 1930s. That is very rare now for someone to settle down at that young age. And for me personally, I said it before in my other video, I don't think anyone should be settling down to prepare themselves to get married at 26. I think you guys should be having fun. Enjoy your 20s. Get your career together, whatever you want to do career-wise, but have fun. You know what I mean? Like, why do you feel the need that you need to get married in your 20s? Do you realize you were a teenager before that and you were a kid before that? Like, 20s is very, very young. Enjoy yourself. Explore yourself. Figure out who you are. Get your career together. Do that. And then maybe your late 20s and your 30s, maybe then your goal should be getting ready to be with someone to have a family and get married. She's crazy. And you could clearly tell Gabriel was off on her when she said that. He was like, yeah, she ain't it. I'm looking for a fun time. She looking for a long time. Yeah, Trinity is not it for me. So now we get Kayda and Bryce. They're playing cornhole. They're having their little conversations about, past relationships and cheating, and what her type is. She says her type is tall, dark, and handsome. And I guess his type is what she looks like, dark hair and light eyes. I don't know what that means when it comes to Kayda, because Kayda is a Black woman or a biracial woman or mixed woman, whatever you want to call her. And it's just like, I don't know if people like tiptoe around the world, around the words. Just say that you like a Black woman with light eyes or a woman of color with light eyes. It's just a dark hair with light eyes. That could be anybody. That can be anybody with any ethnic group. It's just, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe it is. So now we get to Sean. So the scene where it was Kenzie, Sincere, and Casey that were up on the balcony talking, they have panned to Sean, Aniyah, and Melanie that was in that little area and they were speaking. So pretty much while they were talking, that scene, they cut to where Sean, I guess a conversation between, Sean, Aniyah, and Melanie. They're talking and, they're asking Sean, like, how are you doing? And let me make sure. So during the conversation between Sean, sorry, y'all, between the conversation between Sean, Aniyah, and Melanie, Sean was very curious to figure out like what was going through their heads when they decided to, choose green. They both say immediately, I knew I was going to choose green. Like they are fully in with Sincere and Casey, and there was no doubt about it that they were never going to choose red. And he is. You could tell he's just still like very puzzled and questioning as to why Bia chose the red. But he's like, you know what? He's really not just going to sweat it. He's going to explore. He said that when he first entered into the villa, he actually wasn't looking at Bea. He was looking at Trinity. So he knows that he's going to pull Trinity for a chat. And honey, I'm here for all of it. All of it. Because I don't know yet about Trinity and Bryce. I don't know. I just feel a little off between them, that I think they were trying to get like a moment, but then they realized that, yeah, they're not really compatible. They're more like friends, but they're still trying to, figure their way around if maybe it could be romantic or not. I don't know. But now we get, hold on. So now we get a conversation. It cuts to Casey and Sean working out. Sean mentions his conversation with the girls and how they were like, oh, you should leave the door cracked. And I forgot to say this, but during that conversation, Sean says, he was like, yeah, I will leave it cracked for her to explain herself, but that's pretty much it. There will be no going backwards, or, them being a couple is just for her to explain herself as to why she chose the red dot and to explore the bombshell, and boom. So pretty much the door is closed between the two. And I get it. I get it. He wants somebody to want him. And if that's not who she is, by all means, like Sean, go. Sean, we're quite a few years apart. Quite a few years apart, but I'll date a young man. I mean, are you 5'10" and above? I'm just saying. Maybe I'll move to Pennsylvania. I don't know. I'm not a Four Seasons kind of girl. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be hot, and that's it. But for you, baby, 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 for you, baby, 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 I will. But anyway, it gets to Kenzie pulling Sean for a chat, and they pretty much just checking up on one another. You know what I mean? He's asking her how she feels. She, again, is still feeling some sort of way about Zach misleading her. And I'm just saying to myself, this guy did not mislead her. This man did not have a chance to just flat out say, I don't want to be with you. But he gave her hints, and he told her about those hints. So I don't know why she keeps talking about it. It's so odd to me. And she goes on and on and on and on in the other episodes. It's so weird to see. And it's just like, you could see Sean is just like, he's listening to her for her to make feel better. But it's also like question marks, like, like, really, is it really that deep in the conversation? So I'm just gonna wrap it up. So that's pretty much the end of the conversation. It turns night. Everybody is preparing for what's gonna happen with the bombshells. Everybody looks good. Everybody is, got their drinks. And then what happens? Sincere gets the first, we got a text. They tell their asses, get to the fire pits. So they all sit down in the fire pits. I forgot who gets the text. I think it's Casey or Aniyah. I think it was one of them. And it says, meet the islanders and the bombshells. Welcome them back. So they all come back. And then it says, the bombshell has to choose who they want to couple up with. Now, Love Island, y'all shady, because the last part of telling them who they had to kiss to let everybody know who they wanted to be coupled up with, they gave it to Sean and they gave it to Kenzie. So Gabriel kisses Bea, and I'm talking about these two were making out. Like, Sean is sitting there awkward as hell. Like, oh my God, like I'm still not understanding why she chose to explore, and they are sitting here making out in front of me. Not only did they make out in front of him, but they sat next to him too. Sean's a good man because he was like, what's up, bro? How you doing? I'm like, no, all of that. how you doing? And that's it. You're not getting no type of dap up just yet. So after, I'm trying to move something for my leg to stretch. So after that happens, then Kayda chooses Zach. Okay, and they make out or whatever. They sit down. Thankfully, they did not sit next to Kenzie because we all know how she acts. So they sit down, and then people get it. People, I don't know who got the text. I'm sorry, honestly, I don't remember who got the text. But oh wait, it was Bryce. I think Bryce got the text, and they were informed that because Bryce and Trinity did not get picked from the Bombshells, they're back as a couple. They appear to be excited. The only reason I think they were excited because they weren't getting eliminated. Let's be real here. So after all of that, then Kenzie and Sean had to stand up in front of the fire pit where they all told them that you were not chosen and you guys are now single and vulnerable. And that ends episode 2. What do y'all think? Honestly, I thought this episode was a little boring. I just could not like pay attention to the back and forth between the villa and the bungalows. It was just like, and I just felt like there was really no need for it just because the dates were just they were boring. They were boring. It's like, who cares? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do a little montage or whatever's been going on and then bring their asses back to the villa. And I want to hear the drama. I want to see what's going on. But it will definitely get that in episode 3. So if you guys like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe because this is a new channel. All right. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. That's your dose of drama for this week's reality report. The show may end, but the drama never. Catch you next time for more chaos, more tea, and more reality.